a fantastic early game. Team Liquid did. They had all the leads you could want to ask for. A 4-kill Kalista, but then you get outplayed through the mid game. Your macro gets a little bit stunted, and then you end up losing. Your tournament life's on the line. It's rough. If they come back and reverse sweep this series, it will definitely be one of the most memorable series of the year, I imagine, for most people watching. Once again, we see the Yone and the Jace taken away. No surprises there. Talia gone, Rumble gone here for the side of Hanwha Life Esports. I don't know if Team Liquid get a more Team Liquid draft than they had in Game 1. I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see what they have cooked up here, because I still want to see Lane Prio, if possible. I still want to see Yun on a big carry where he can get it done, because he had all the tools in the last game. Maybe in Game 2, he'll have something that can actually get that extra oomph, that extra push through the mid game. Yeah,
what I want to see is as much, like, simple team fighting as possible. Avaris certainly fits into that. You give yourself a lot of ability to play throughout, you know, the mid game as well, and you've got poke potential, fits into a lot of different drafts. Does make a lot of sense there. Doesn't give away too much, and I feel like there's still a lot of priority picks left up and available.
It outranges the Ashe, and it makes the Ezreal basically unplayable, so Viper will go a completely different direction here and grab the Jhin.
Yeah, a pick that we haven't seen find a lot of success today.
Yeah, but it has been a pick he found success a lot on in the past. Was one of the picks he got to the LCK Summer Finals on back in 2024. So,
yep,
a pick he's really well versed on.
Yeah, last time it was not him playing it, which may make a little bit of an impact here. Wait, never mind. He might be playing Tristana. That could be top lane Jhin. You know, Zeus has been trying to play as many different things as possible this tournament. You never know.
You know, picks like the Ivern, actually, the stocks of them go way up when you have double AD carry like this and you have a Tristana. A lot of 2024 Ivern picks were dominated by a double.
Yeah, a tree. Grab any tree. Any tree is okay. You just lock a tree. There it is.
Okay, so...
You could even lock the other tree as well. What's better than one tree? Two trees.
Maybe not in this Team Liquid draft, I would say, but maybe perhaps in the series.
I mean, it's still a flex Maokai, right? You can go top or support.
You could play it support, that's true. I hope he doesn't in this case, CoreJJ, please. Let's see what they do want to lock in here, because you know, you could end up with something like an Azir pick for APA. You have a lot of scaling with this. Or you just go Cassiopeia.
Yeah, I think Cassiopeia is the other obvious choice here to be locked in immediately. Of course, Quad is over there. And so there's been a lot of Cassiopeias slithering around the rift.
This is laughing when he sees this. It will keep Tristan a little bit grounded as Zyra gets
This is TL's chance. This is TL's chance right now. Peanut has locked in the Zyra, and if you haven't been watching the LCK, this is not his best champion.
Not right now.
No.
It has been solid for him in the past at times, but I feel like
this year is not year of the plant.
No, it's not our favorite.
For Peanut.
Jax will get banned away from Impact, which Azael will probably see as a positive, but I do think it works well with their comp. I think it's a smart ban. And I think when you look at this draft here for Hanwha Life Esports, it's still incredibly flexible in terms of what it can do. It's got great damage profile. You could go for a tank top, or you could just go for a counter matchup into what Impact plays, and you have enough damage to get through almost anything.
Yeah, I really like the Alistar ban here. You might be able to get rid of something like a Rel at the same time. And there were weird supports in game number 1, right? So like you still have Leona and Rel and all these sorts of things. And maybe TL don't want to ban either of those, because they seem to be the last ones remaining after that Nautilus does get banned away.
See if Zeus wants to blind something here and then give counter pick to Delight to make sure that that bottom lane goes swimmingly. I think that's probably what we're looking for. So you could even just ban something like a Gnar here and feel comfortable with it. Targeting Delight's pool, we can't predict what that's going to be. Only TL know what they want to play. They will ban the Gnar as I suggested instead, though. There are a few other picks that you can blind here that feel pretty safe, though, for Zeus. Even the Ambessa actually feels pretty good in this situation against a Varus, who's fairly immobile. As long as you can avoid the Maokai ultimate with your own ult, public execution can be a great way to lock down both of these carries.
Yeah, you're right. Ambessa didn't even cross my mind that she's still available. Zeus could lock that one away if he'd like. We'll see whether he does. As right now, he's looking... Yeah, like he's giggling a little bit. It's going to be Rel instead. So we're saving a top lane pick until last.
Is it a Vayne game?
Yeah, I'm worried about that. There's already 280 carries. Yeah. Yeah, you might be onto something there, Wolf. We'll just have to see.
Is it a Jhin game as you originally predicted?
Yeah.
Let's see what TL have in mind here for Core JJ, though. Now that they know there's a Rel here, the Alistar they banned would have been a great pick, but it's gone now. So I like that kind of change up here in the draft for Hanwha Life instead of getting counters to pick. It's going to be taking the Rakan here, one of Delight's favorites in his own right, and Renekton for Core JJ. So wins a lot of matchups here. What is going to be the response for Zeus? I mean, would he be so bold as to play a GP here, something squishy? You could even play the Kennen into this.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that he could do. Not a bad Vayne matchup.
Well,
no, it is not. It's not great.
I'm not. Let's not ask any particular top laners from our region how they feel about how that one would go.
Oh, it's Quinn. It's Quinn.
We knew
Never mind. It was going to be an AD carry, guys. It was. This is the one that really makes Renekton's day awful.
You know what? Even though he didn't make it here, he was a big part of Hanwha Life's run last year. It's such a Doran pick for that last one. You know, the former Hanwha Life esports player who loved to play Quinn into Renekton. Doran was the guy for that, but Zeus is once again just going to take the fun counter pick here. And it's basically now 380 carries, a Zyra, and a Rel, but they have a lot of setup here in this comp between the Rel and the Zyra ultimate. There's a lot of ways to lock down these carries, but I think on paper I have to lean towards Team Liquid. Their comp is so much more multifaceted. It's got a decent early game, and then the Cassiopeia and Varus are going to be so powerful later on.
Yeah, and it's really, really hard to utilize a lot of the extra mobility that you do get, especially with something like a Tristana when the miasma is all over the ground. So I think APA going to be really, really important in this one in making sure that they can get the first few picks. Because otherwise, I mean, this composition from HLE doesn't team fight. It just kind of doesn't. What they want to do is they want to pick you off. They want to go in for these little dives, like they're like seagulls, you know. And of course, I've got Valor on the mind because Quinn was just locked in. But that is kind of how you want to play. You want to peck at them. You want to try and take the side lanes out. It's largely like a 1-3-1 composition because you're basically made out of paper. There is not a lot of tankiness, and this is just your stock standard front-to-back composition. TL, I mean, I have the same opinion as game number 1, Wolf, and let's see whether this time they can get it across the line. Ooh, absolutely nailed it with the second fan chant there. You love to see it.
I mean, look.
Wait, it's HLE, so obviously they're pretty good at coordinating.
Uh-oh, Yun.
Well, Deadly Flourish is going to lock him down where he stands. Delight just a little bit too far away as the thumbs up does come on through. And Piercing Arrow going to be avoided, and that does mean that Yun is able to get himself out. So, Deadly Flourish missing.
Ooh, pretty good angle on it, though.
Yeah, not bad.
It's...
Oh, here we go, the plant battle.
Oh my god, this is such an umpty move.
Christmas Tree versus Fire Tree. Oh no, he doesn't see the Quinn.
No, he has no idea, of course. He only has vision of the red buff.
Flashing?
I think that's the plan. Otherwise, I don't know why he'd stand there.
Oh no, and the Quinn went back. Oh my goodness.
This is such an umpty move.
Oh, this would be so cheeky. You can see Peanut gets into the brush.
It would be so huge for him.
In he comes. All right, Bramble Smash, and he steals it away. Peanut now in trouble as the Twisted Advance is going to lock him down. That's going to get the flash out as well. Obviously, it's a flash for flash, but now Umpty's going to take 2 camps.
This is completely stifling Peanut's jungle here. He is not going to be able to get the insane clear that you want to have as a Zyra here. Is going to be completely slowed down. It's a massive win for Umpty here.
Oh my, and he's
going for the
splashing. You love to see it. Noxious Blast connecting onto Zeka here, but it looks like Zeka's just going to be moving forward.
Level 2.
Yeah, Twin Fang's coming on through now. So, yeah, just trying to get back to his own jungle. And Umpty, phenomenal start here in game number 2. That's a flash, and it's traded immediately here. Okay. And we are so antsy this game. This series is weird, Wolf.
I mean, look, this is a really important matchup for TL. You know, HLE are playing a little bit fast and loose with some of these drafts, right? This tournament.
Yeah.
Little laissez-faire, little happy gaming, as we like to call it in the LCK. And for TL, you're like, I'm really trying to win this. This is actually do or die for me. You can feel the tension for them. I mean, you have so many incredibly talented players who've spent a large portion of their career in Korea, going back to the champion stage, but you have Impact, you have Core JJ on this team playing in front of a Korean crowd for the first time in a while.
So many Umpty as well, yeah, he's getting up there.
And you've got so many Korean fans cheering this roster on, as meanwhile in the top lane,
oh, Impact in trouble. That's going to be one more auto as the flash comes out. Oh, man. Not wanting to risk it, and that does make some sense. In the meantime, though, APA actually doing a really great job, even though Peanut was in the vicinity. Oh, as Umpty had his saplings lying in wait. He's even going to get some extra. That's 6 gold just by wandering through. And I've seen this from Impact before, overstaying towards the top side. This time around, though, Zeus not going to be executing him underneath the turret.
He does have, right now, the big teleport advantage, since Zeus has to go cleanse here.
The Hex Flash out of the brush there from Delight. That was probably why he flashed earlier.
100%. That's the rules.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Peanut's going to come over here and try to strike back. Hard to win this fight alone, though.
Yeah, see who manages to get this smite down. It is going to be Umpty, but can he keep himself alive? That's the question. Just running out, and he should be A-OK. Yeah, Zeka, no Buster Shot, of course, only level 4 on this Tristana.
Hard to win against good old Bramble.
Indeed.
He's going to smash it, he's going to smite it, he's going to take it. Scary there for Umpty for a second because APA was backed, and so that gave Zeka free roam over there to try to impact the play. Look at all the vision that Peanut has set up as well in the jungle, so they're tracking Umpty incredibly well here. Have topside control.
Ooh, Zeka actually was hit by that Noxious Blast, and now he's taking so much damage. The Twin Fangs coming through as APA gets the ward down. Wanting to know whether flashing after this guy is going to be a good idea. Never mind, he doesn't actually have that one up and available.
And Zeka doesn't need to use it though. Scary there for a moment, and a really nice trade for APA. Zeka does not have teleport, so this is going to feel really nice for APA striking back in a big way.
This is one of the best laning phases we've seen out of APA so far this tournament, though.
I agree.
As this Cassiopeia difficult to move at the best of times, but right now Zeka losing out on some of these trades.
Once again, TL are going to swap here. Yun to the top lane to lane against the Quinn. Put Impact in the bottom lane against Viper, so they're faster on that swap. Get a little bit of a tempo advantage here. Get Impact out of the gutter.
It's a little bit unfair right now as well as, okay, Impact diving forward onto Viper here. Does manage to get that Ruthless Predator down. And he's culling the Meek as well.
Before Quinn has ult, you know, she can't really get back to lane quickly. And she doesn't have teleport because she has to go cleanse into this Renekton. So at any point, Impact could just TP back to the top lane and swap again. So this is actually a really good call here by TL. Delight is going to come up here now, though, and assist Zeus. So it's not going to be a pushing lane for Yun.
Yeah. Not so much, as the wave does fly on forward. And TL just going to pick that one up before it crashes, and things will be absolutely fine. Some more Miasma landing on the ground, but Zeka, he cannot walk across it. So it makes things kind of awkward. Still, this control ward will be taken out.
All right, Tristana versus Cassiopeia is such a volatile matchup.
Yeah.
It's you know, you end up getting a lead in it, and you just run away with it, even in those trades. So you have to be so careful, Zeka, as Zeka was in that moment. Pretty incredibly close mid lane between these two right now. Dead even in CS. As we see the junglers also meeting up. Peanut caught.
Another time. That is the twisted advance forward. And Peanut, not a lot of way out of this one. That is going to be the poison picking it up for APA. As now Zeka also trying to deal with him. Not enough damage. And there's Core JJ with the grand entrance. Not wanting to risk it there as he throws up the T1 emote for some reason or other. And look, once again, TL have an advantage. And in game one, I was very confident in saying this looks really great. Now I have no idea, Wolf.
I mean, I do feel like this is once again a really good situation for them, especially when you consider the fact that Impact... hold up.
Yeah, that is going to be Core JJ lit on fire and does throw down the heal. Is the last tick going to be enough? And the answer is no. That's why you drink your potions, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh, scary there.
Yeah.
Had a refillable one, so... is going to be A-OK there. I don't know if A-OK is the right word, but will be alive.
He will be alive, yes. He manages to limp away. As we're going to check this fight out one more time.
Umpty here comes over, controller. As soon as he sees Peanut, he and AP are like, well, this is a kill. This is guaranteed. Grounding comes in onto Peanut. Not really anything he can do. Delight wants to come over just a little bit too slow here. And Zeka, tons of damage, but unfortunately not quite enough. And the timing on the Buster Shot isn't the execute there onto APA. And it is a kill given over, fortunately not to APA, but he did pick one up moments before. So he's got a kill on the board, 700 gold up now. Impact behind in this game, still significantly behind in CS, but I feel like this could have gone even worse with how the lane was looking until that swap came through. Yun has an advantage as well over Viper as hold up.
Yep, Delight had his flash off cooldown, so obviously he's pressing that button yet again. Peanut thrown out of the battle though, as the Brambles are thrown out over the corpse of APA, who unfortunately could not survive. There is still so much damage here in this HLE composition, needs to be respected. And once again, Delight is just not afraid of pulling every trigger that's ever presented to him ever.
He certainly is not. And poor TL here, not able to end up making anything of this, just a disengage there from Umpty with his ult to get them out, but now his ult is down for the Dragon they want to take. APA going in!
Yeah, there's a beautiful ultimate as well, as the Petrifying Gaze onto Zeka, the flash forward from APA! Gives him the double thumbs up, and that is a solo kill for Yapton America.
Beautifully played from APA there. Sets up the miasma so he can't jump after the stun.
Oh, great interruption there from Core JJ, but he's interrupted. Never mind, gets out with the battle dance.
And that should just be the Dragon going over to TL here. Even without Umpty's ultimate, they're able to secure it. And unfortunately for Peanut, he's not able to make anything of this bottom side potential play. So a bit of back and forth in this one. It's a lead here for TL, but it's not an insurmountable one. But if you're an LTA fan, if you're a TL fan, you're really still feeling pretty good about how this draft is going so far, as long as you can forget what happened in game one.
And I think as well, like, in this game, they're not as priced in to sort of winning earlier on. They have range advantages. They have very simple engage options by just pressing R on a Maokai. We've seen that Umpty is very happy to get this done as Impact able to get aggressive onto Zeus with that Bolt now on cooldown. Does mean that he might be able to get something done here as Peanut unable to land the Grasping Roots, but that Stranglethorns does so much work, softening up TL. Delight Magnus Storm onto 3 though! As he's underneath the turret, it just may not matter. Viper diving forward as well, manages to take down Yun as Zeka diving on in. Umpty underneath this turret. He's out of the captive audience range, as is everyone else actually, as this is super awkward. Twisted advance as Umpty's dead. That was so heroic.
Well, Impact is here. I think that's what he wanted to maybe set up for, but this might just be another handbag to the collection.
Never mind, APA's moving down. Let's see whether the Snake and the Crocodile can get something done. The answer is at least they're hit. That's a flash forward. Okay, Slice and Dyson looking all cool. Unfortunately, he's still dead underneath the turret. And Viper, he just wanted out.
Yeah, he gets the execute, so gets away. APA wanted much more than what he ended up getting, but at least he picks up a third kill here. He is what has to be the saving grace here for TL in this game now. To go all the way back to this, it looked like the play should be over. You know, there's not much you can get done here anymore. As you know, HLE, Yun is able to avoid the ult here. And then Delight says, you know what? I think I've got an angle. He always has an angle.
He had an angle.
And Viper just barely gets the kill as Delight holds the turret aggro, and they go for the redive. Meanwhile, in live, TL grouped up.
Yeah, Twisted Advance going to follow Zeka there as he's in amongst 4 people. He's really dead. APA going to grab his 4th off the back of that one.
The Miasma is so frustrating to play against as a Tristana because you always feel like you have that inherent safety of being able to get away. It just keeps preventing him from escaping, and Zeka gets taken out a 3rd time here. That's 4 kills now for this Cassiopeia, and some grubs will come with it. Looked like maybe Hondo Life Esports are getting back a grip on this game, but it's just still so back and forth. My biggest issue here for TL is that the gap between Zeus and Impact continues to widen, and the Croc here hasn't really made too much of an impact in this game, no pun intended, but I think it gets harder and harder from here, as he's just going to be a stun button later on, and 2 of his opponents he wants to stun have cleanse. So it's going to be quite tricky. I think the Renekton being irrelevant in this game is going to be the biggest thing that TL is going to have to overcome, and APA is definitely going to have to be the one to fill that gap here. He has a massive lead over Zeka. He is quite large on this Cassiopeia. He has to basically alone get it done.
Yeah, I do have to say, when the cleanse is on cooldown, though, for any of these players, and with the fact that, like, Grasping Roots exists, the Nature's Grasp, exists, you can get cleanses quite comfortably, and you don't need to overcommit for it. And speaking of committing, there's a quickness thrown down just to make sure that Delight cannot press any of his buttons. And that is probably worth it there as well from Core JJ. In the meantime, we have a look down here towards the bottom side. But yeah, if these cleanses are on cooldown, then Impact becomes so much more deadly. Yeah. Because they can really kill a single target exceptionally quickly, especially with Miasma available. as soon as that summoner spell is not available on top of the flash as well.
He does have ult here, so if Viper and Delight got the wrong idea, it might be able to turn this into something, which is I think why Yun and CoreJJ were trying to push something there, but really well read by Hanwha Life Esports. Not going to get tricked. Cole about to finish for Zeus as well. It'll be a big influx of gold to this Quinn. Going back to this play here, Zeka ends up getting over the wall. In fact, actually, we came into this one a little bit late, but is now grounded and taken out. So just more TL members there. Zeka playing a little bit greedy. And this kind of setup here for TL is just find target, kill target is being a kill target.
Yeah, Ruthless Predator out from Impact, trying to trade back, but of course Zeus is Quinn, so just has the mobility advantage. Impact should be kind of fine in this matchup though, as Zeus is going to mount up and just see where else he wants to impact the map. We mentioned earlier on that this is a composition that won't really be going for 5v5s on the HLE side of things unless you can get yourself an initial pick to really sort of screw up the phalanx that TL can set up for themselves.
Okay, CoreJJ is still here.
Yeah, there's that Cull cash in that we were talking about. As Delight coming on down, plate money going over to Impact as Umpty is in the area. Could be a Quinn that they're looking for. Umpty playing this one very patiently. Throws a present into the brush though.
A little bit of plate gold here for Team Liquid.
The gold is completely even.
It's dead even. Again, you have a big, big lead for Cassiopeia. Everyone else pretty significantly behind on TL's side. So it's a much more even spread for Hanwha Life Esports, which is usually a good sign, especially with picks that allow you to catch that Cassiopeia potentially. As Zeus is just having a great time here into this Renekton. Putting the pressure on to Umpty now, is trying to secure Dragon.
Oh dear, Yun gonna have to flash out of the way, but does so beautifully. Still going to get hit by that Deadly Flourish, but isn't actually going to die or anything like that, as now Zeus looking for impact, and the curtains have been called. So is the Nature's Grasp, though, and that is going to guarantee the Dragon. Oh, everyone's rooted, and there's the quickness into the back line. They get the knockdown, and Piercing Arrow cuts through Peanut. This Zyro not working once again, unfortunately.
Yeah, and now Zeus
walking towards Zeus, yeah, exactly, and oh, the Petrifying Gaze instantly cleansed there by Zeus. Looked very cool, but unfortunately, I think he's still going to die, as the Grand Entrance cannot be flashed out of, and Impact just culls the meek indeed. They should be able to take themselves a turret off the back of this one, and Zeka is just licking his wounds after falling so far behind in this early game.
Yeah, Beats' strength picked up here, though.
Oh, are they going to be able to take this turret? They should.
Yeah, it is.
Beats obviously already
Beats
gone.
already locked up here for TL, though, so not that significant here. I was looking back at this fight, it looks a little bit risky here with Zeus actually pushing Impact out, but Umpty just says no one can come over here, and already Viper committed his ult. Double Root comes through here as they're a little bit greedy on the position. Viper gets out, but you see the follow-up onto Peanut, and TL get both the Dragon and the kill there, then turn their eyes onto Zeus, secure an additional kill. Now they're back in the lead.
There's the flash forward, but Impact is going to survive. And so many times we've come out of a replay and Impact has just died. And this time,
he lived.
He didn't. Maybe that is the first sign that this game is going to go way different to what we saw in game number 1.
And look at the MasterCard lane economy snapshot. You know, we've been saying it all the time. APA against the world, APA the hero of TL here. The rest of the team will be relevant if he can help get them there, if he can actually win some team fights for Yun on this Forest and get him back into the game. Impact may find himself in trouble here. They don't have vision.
Yeah, he was spotted. This is a very healthy turret as Zeus is coming on over. CoreJJ coming down as well, though, does get the information that Impact is going to be in trouble. And now Zeka coming down as well. So he's going to rocket jump over. There's the Dominus as Quickness going to come on through as well. They do manage to take down the Crocodile as Delight almost just dies to the turret. The ramping damage almost killing Peanut there as well, as Zeus is just going to kill the Rakan. And in the meantime, the Rift Herald is going to be thrown into the mid lane. So with these 6 scrubs, TL should be able to take this one down no problem. But unfortunately, the turret still falls in the bottom lane.
Maybe an additional charge, though. Viper can't stop this, so
yeah,
that's a big win. And I like the idea here from Hanwha Life Esports, because you know you have a weak point on the bottom side of the map. You can push onto this Renekton. Initially, there's no inherent risk because there's no push in the top lane, so that top turret is safe. The problem is that Rift Herald is in the hands of TL, so they're going to be able to get something, as Yun is in danger.
Yeah, the curtains have been called. He's hit by one of them. There's the Chains of Corruption as Umpty being the hero, but now Peanut He's going to need to be smoked to keep him out of here. Yun not going to be helping out in this fight as the blast cone gets Umpty to safety, but that is control of the river going over to HLE. They do retain a slight gold advantage, but it's like 200, so who really cares? And it's about how these compositions are going to work later in the game. And this is something that I've been trying to talk about for a while, but
it's tough with all these fights and skirmishes.
It's been real weird. You're exactly right. But this is not a Kale situation.
No, it's
right?
not.
Like Quinn
Quinn
scales, but she doesn't scale quite the same way.
Yeah. Renekton doesn't scale incredibly well either, unfortunately, but still can be a lot of utility here, especially when there's a lot of setup between a Rakan, even the Varus ultimate, the the gaze from APA. But there's a lot of ways to chain some CC together here against Hanwha Life Esports, and Impact will be able to at least have some value in this game in 5v5 team fights that so far Hanwha Life Esports have mostly been able to avoid. But they're also getting this strong late-game Tristana angle online. The big deal here, though, is that APA is actually putting him down pretty hard, and he's actually now winning in sides against this Tristana because he's so significantly ahead. He has 2 items. He's already working on his 3rd here, that he can just kind of push into Zeka in any scenario 1v1, which forces more members of Hanwha Life around the map, so they can't have that side lane control they want to necessarily have with the Quinn. As I mean, just look at this damage.
Yeah. APA is no joke right now. And when he has Leandri's completed, like, that's going to be massive amounts of neutral objective damage as well. So being able to take down things like a Baron is going to be a very quick affair for TL.
And Atlas, they have a 2 Drake lead. Dragon spawns here in 3rd. They have a lot of prio, a lot of vision, as this isn't going to matter too much here. Yep. But they have a lot of vision, they have a lot of control. They're going to commit a TP as well pretty early. I think they're just going to try to rush this Dragon down on spawn, and I just don't think there's anything that Hanwha Life Esports can do about it. And if Hanwha try to contest, it's not going to be a favorable fight. Zeus also can't TP it into the fight at all. And so he's going to try to get something done here in the top lane.
Yep, and Cannon is going to go to Impact. Very nice. And yeah, this is what Zeus has to do all game, right? He has to just be annoying inside lanes, utilize his extra mobility in order to take whatever they can.
He's a crocodile hunter.
Yeah.
That's his job.
And it's smoke and mirrors here for this guy. Right now it is working.
Looks like TL want the fight more than they want the Dragon. It's not going to start it. It's looking for the fight.
Yeah, there's a twisted advance forward onto Delight. He's taking a fair bit of damage here, as we can see. This poison is really a worry.
Zeka loses his ultimate here as he tries to push APA away, and that should just be the Drake going over. I think they wanted more than the Dragon, but it is going to be their prize here, Soul Point.
Yeah, and the presence coming in. Umpty, of course, still has the ultimate up.
Well, they're not focusing the Dragon.
But any time they want to pull the trigger, Umpty should be able to just say, no, you're not allowed in here, as the quickness flies forward. Zeus finding an opportunity is so difficult, as Impact just says, no, you're not allowed in. Zeka now off to the side of the fight, but it's Core JJ that goes down first, and Zeka has made it to safety. These health bars are so low, and this is actually the kind of fight that HLE really want to look for. Zeus now fighting against Otacon as well. This is insanity, and Zeus so extraordinarily low. Eyes on the prize, though. TL will be able to take down the Dragon. Otacon continues to be annoyed. Zeus down to 200. Will be able to live.
Oh, man, you couldn't have had a more split-up fight there for TL, trying to both take the Dragon initially and then look for a turn, and then having multiple different target selections in the fight. As you watch this happen, you can see, okay, Dragon's half health. Core JJ wants to go in, but the follow-up isn't there. You know, you see the roots come through, you do see the chain come out from Yun, but then everything's split. Zeka's off on one side against Umpty. You can't kill the Tristana, so now your jungler's on the wrong side of the fight. Yun and Impact are zoned away. Delight is ready to engage here for Zeus, comes over, and yes, APA is full health, and he does a ton of damage, but he can't hit anybody. There's no one to actually hit. His damage is wasted, so finally, he just decides to hit the Dragon, and they end up taking that one out, but I feel like that is not how TL wanted that to go. They're going to now put their eyes towards a Hail Mary Otacon.
And this is like...
Tournament lives on the line.
This is a Cassiopeia. She does so much damage to this, so as you can see, it's already down to half health. Zeus is on the top side of the map.
They're giving it.
And Zeka's there as well. So yeah, Ruinous Otacon is going to go over to TL. So that's going to mean a whole bunch of extra levels and damage and things like this, and we'll see whether HLE can get enough off the back of it, because they do manage to take down some turrets. Outer goes down in the mid lane, Inner goes down on the top side.
Look at the XP they'll pick up here. APA, for a moment,
the
3 levels up.
gardening as well, which is kind of ironic and beautiful to watch there as Umpty picks up all of those extra stats.
I mean, APA just continues to be so far ahead of Zeka, not only in gold, but in experience as well. We'll hit level 16 fairly soon here. Just don't know if this is enough for TL.
Yeah, and they're now 4,000 gold behind, close to. Which I just wasn't expecting when I looked up to the top of the screen.
It's because Hanwha got so much out of that. When they Hail Married the Otacon, Hanwha got so much of the map, picked up some additional turrets. Now a 4-2 turret lead, which is really where all that gold is. And again, the gold is spread pretty evenly across Hanwha Life Esports, where again, it's just the one-man show of APA here. Yun is on 2 items now, is starting to become more relevant on this lethality Varus. Still going to be able to follow up on some of those engages that we can see from Umpty, where he can set up APA to get on top, and then Yun layers that damage, but not in a comfortable position by any means right now, because Impact is 3,000 gold behind still on this Renekton, has never been allowed to play the game.
And it's not, like, the thing is, okay, the thing is that Core JJ takes half of his health bar. He'll be fine. Gleaming Quill gives him a bunch of his health back. Zeus also just going to say goodbye Impact. But this is the matchup I wanted to talk about, because in game 1, it was backbreaking. In this game, it's not as much. I think you can just be a handbag and just get carried in this game if you are Impact, because APA is getting these advantages, and in the 5v5, this composition will still work, even if you have a Renekton that's really far behind, because ultimately in the end he's got a W button, and the W button will do what it says on the tin. As Umpty,
this is a good angle here.
Yeah, looking for the wraparound, and if they don't get the kill onto Zeka, they should still be able to just take down this turret. So really nice play here from TL. Drag that gold back towards their way. Another little bit. So under 3,000 now is the lead.
2 minutes until, or just under 2, until what could be Mountain Soul here. For APA, having that additional set of resistances, having the shield, can allow him to just be battle Cassiopeia in these fights. He already has Archangels, so he is very difficult to kill or focus down here, especially with this kind of wonky composition from Hanwha Life, where their best engage is Rel. But if that's out of reach, you kind of have to throw in Peanut's ultimate and hope for the best. So he's going to have a lot of agency. It's really important that he's the one who has this lead. I feel like if the Varus had this lead, it would be big, but not necessarily with this scenario as strong. APA has a massive level advantage, so he can still continue to side lane. If you're a TL fan, you're really hoping this guy's going to get it done, because he has all the right tools to do so. It's a tough game state in general, but he alone has everything he needs to carry in these upcoming team fights. Hanwha Life have so far pretty much avoided. Now we're getting towards the big objectives. They got Otacon for free. They got all those extra experiences. They have 3 dragons plus the extra resistances that are coming from that Otacon. And now Baron is something Hanwha Life cannot avoid. And with the damage that TL have, they can rush it down quickly. So Hanwha need to be really careful about how they play out these next few scenarios, because if they get caught on the map and TL are on Baron, it's just gone. They have some vision now, but if TL can start playing around vision and threatening those fights and threatening some turns, especially when you consider that the Quinn doesn't have teleport, there are ways for TL to just kind of rip that rug out from underneath Hanwha Life, take that Baron, and use that to win the game.
And TL have been so good at being on the objective first. Is now JJ's diving in. Chains of Corruption avoided there by the flash. Peanuts out of the fight, and they instead just go for Delight. Another Magnet Storm, but this time it's not enough. And Zeus just there a little bit late. However, this AoE damage kind of massive, as Zeka wanting to press that rocket jump button, but TL have successfully disengaged.
I mean, this is a Zyra. They can't just go Dragon, because HLE will be like, we got Tristana, we got Zyra, we'll trade for Baron. I think TL, but split here.
Yeah, Buster shot Umpty, and he should still go down.
APA is getting Dragon. APA is getting Dragon this whole time. It's at half health, and now they have to try to stop this Baron, though. I mean, Mountain Soul is permanent, Baron is not, but you do not want to give this over to Hanwha Life.
Yeah, and they also cannot lose multiple members as well, because then you cannot defend against it. Still, the Baron doing a fair bit of damage here, as it only has just spawned a minute ago.
There's those shields.
Yeah, they're diving forward. Double knock up there from Core JJ's into the back of the pit. They go. That is the Baron. Over to HLE, but now Impact presses the Dominus button and looks to try and lock down the fight. The flash out from Yun to try and keep himself alive, and Zeka is going bonkers in the fight. APA, he'll turn up at the miasma a little bit too late.
I think they got to get out of here.
Yeah, you have to run as quickly as you can, but instead they realize that maybe they have not been able to. That dodge was gorgeous, but still APA is standing. He goes golden, and Zeus is just melting to the poison damage. APA will eventually go down, as Zeka does have his bead drawn now. And TL, they do have Soul, but now they're without a Baron, and this gold lead is only going to extend for HLE.
Umpty wants to try to get on top of Zeka here. He is low on mana, but has enough to try to get out.
Yeah, he's still going to be able to press that ulti button, but the walk to the right strategy from Zeka is just a little bit too powerful.
Umpty just wants to try to burn as much Baron time here as he can. 2 minutes left on it. A really crazy call there from APA. Breaks his arm guard to actually try to outplay and carry there, but unfortunately is unable to do so. This ends up being so close. But obviously, without a smite here, it's going to be the objective is always going to HLE. But because APA committed the dragon, he's not there, so they kind of have to buy time. And unfortunately, it's just not quite enough. You see, by the time APA gets here, Hanwha Life have just so much control. Zeka is able to get away with that rocket jump. I know APA has a difficult decision to make. Does he go in, or does he actually decide to run away? He decides to go in. Zeus, amazing dodge there on the ultimate, just out of range of it. Otherwise, he dies 100%. And then APA is just left to the Wolves here. He tries to stopwatch to get his way out, but there's just too much damage. He's buying time, though, against that Baron, and time is what TL need. 1 minute 15 to try to keep these inhibitors alive. CoreJJ on a crazy flank.
Yeah, this is a mental flank, and you can see he is unseen on his way forward. Delight now in trouble as the quickness into the back line locks down Zeka and Peanut. The Petrifying Gaze not doing too much, but the Magnastorm only onto one, and they know exactly who the carry is as APA takes all of these ultimates to the face, and TL are just cleaning up the rift of HLE. The Barons now just not really doing anything at all. The triple kill for Giannis. Now he is definitely online. 7-3-1 for this Varus.
Huge play by CoreJJ on the flank. Look at this, blast cones his way in. APA is ready, and sure, the ultimate from APA isn't what we're really going to be writing home about, but he does a ton of damage, and they split Zeka and Peanut away with that ult. Viper then is isolated against a Renekton, and yes, Impact will still do things on a Renekton in this game. Takes out the Jhin.
Zeus flaps down to the bottom lane, sees what's going on, and says, I will have no part in this, and then flies away.
Quinn's got the pizza delivery, but doesn't like what she sees. And you know, I think if APA doesn't have Mountain Soul there, doesn't have the Archangel Shield, he might go down. It's fairly close, but he's so big in this game. He's so fed. And that was a great play from CoreJJ. And then the follow-up ult, even though it doesn't really hit anybody, really cuts the team in half. And Team Liquid just hanging on. So again, tournament life on the line. One loss away from not making that top four. APA's gold lead, though, has faded.
The thing is, I still think that with the compositions, TL in the late game with Mountain Soul should just be able to win. As Chains of Corruption was optimistic at best, Grasping Roots is going to be grasping at straws there for Peanut. I don't know why he was there.
Every person who this entire tournament has been warning against Peanut having a tough time and saying, see, I told you!
Yeah, especially when it comes to Zyra. It turns out that that was still correct. Zeus and Impact is still going the same way that it was before. TL able to push up in this mid lane. Delight taking a bit of damage here.
It matters less and less when a Quinn bullies a Renekton, when she can't really get more out of it than just pushing him into his inhibitor turret than having to leave. Meanwhile, a really relevant four-man push here in mid is starting to actually make a dent into this inhibitor turret as APA TP's in.
Yeah, and remember, the Baron just went over to HLE as well as Deadly Flourish. That is very scary as Jan getting this explosive charge charged up, doing a fair bit of work there as he does decide to invest his barrier. And Zeus, once again, this is not where the pizza goes. Wrong house, wrong address, and he's now going to head back towards the Crocodile.
Impact can TP. He can flank if they can set up some wards. They have a ward set up just north of the Raptor Pit. If we see Hanwha overextend, maybe he can flank that way. That's one thing that Quinn can't do. She can rotate very quickly, but she's not going to be able to teleport on a flank, at all. And look at the items here for Zeka. He's able to now, despite being down an item technically, kind of go more toe-to-toe with APA. He's a real team fight threat. One reset for him. If they kill APA first in the fight, even if they kill Yun, I don't know if APA necessarily is going to be able to get it done alone against this many threats.
I mean, technically it's toe-to-tail, isn't it?
True. That's a good point.
I don't want to nitpick or anything like that.
It's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
But toe-to-tail may be what Zeka is looking for here. Still 2 levels down, but this fight, Elder, 35 seconds till it spawns, both up. Whoever wins the fight, if you win it cleanly, gets Exodia and ends the game. You have to be so cautious. And right now, Quinn pushing topside, but not able to threaten anything. You know, if she's threatening an inhibitor, it's a different story, but Impact can just show up in a moment's notice. They have so much prio here.
Yeah, the teleport advantage going to be such a big deal.
He's heading over already, though. Zeus, he's going to get here first.
Now Delight in position. Teleport from Zeka towards that bottom lane. And TL, they just need to hold the line. They need to hold it. They need to try and take whoever oversteps.
Zeka pushing
get that
bottom.
lockdown. There's Jan. I don't know about the flank angle on the Varus, but he gets back to the rest of his teammates.
This is so tense. APA just hanging on the edge here, does so much damage to the objective. Just putting Hanwha Life on the clock, saying you will eventually have to come over here. You will eventually have to take this away from us.
Yeah.
Zeus remounts.
Zek on this flank angle, but you can see control wards everywhere. TL have done their homework this time as Viper is in trouble. Below half health now. As Delight as well, keeping his health bar as high as possible so he can actually engage. Deadly Flourish not doing too much.
Hanwha running out of time.
Yeah. And it's the Nature's Grasp that you have to watch out for. Umpty holding on to that one. He's got that one in the barrel.
This Elder's getting very low. Peanut just looking for a steal. That's all he's got.
Yeah, Curtain Call does absolutely nothing in this fight at the same time, so Viper won't have access to that.
Bit of a reset.
Yeah, this reset on the Elder is a big deal. But if TL focus this, it goes down so fast.
They've got the health bar advantage. They might be able to catch
the wrap around. He gets the knockout, and there is the quickness. And Jan able to take him out before he can do anything. Petrifying Gaze as the Buster Shot gets rid of APA, but Delight is dead. No Magnus Storm for you. TL just find the perfect team fight, and this should win them the game.
Absolutely. Huge win here for TL. So patient. You know, you're back against the wall in this game. Your tournament life is on the line. You don't choke. You play it slow. You watch your flanks. They spot Zeus on the flank, take him out, and that is all they needed to do. They used the health bar of the Elder against Hanwha Life Esports, and it looks like we are going to Game 3. Atlas.
Thank goodness, because this game, it was another crazy draft. But man, TL, they look so good. And the fact that they were still behind, they still held on, they got those objectives, they did what they needed to do. Delight going to respawn, but his Nexus is not going to until Game 3. And TL, they're still alive here at First Stand. And I can feel it. Top Esports has started to sweat, Wolf.
Oh, no doubt, man. But what
This is a weird game.
What an incredibly earned game from TL. They had the tools to win, but I think every single person had doubts that they could pull it off, especially after they had way more tools to win in Game 1 and couldn't do it. They had APA, Super Fett, he lost his gold lead, but was still up on experience. They played the side lanes well. They dealt with the Quinn in the late game incredibly well, incredibly patiently. They were able to do things like quick cast OP on Dragon and then rush to Baron to try to stop it. They played the map so well. I walk away from